Thailand, the cost of energy, lack of skilled workers was an issue. And in China, this is looking at Taiwan, who does trade with mainland China, they would say that government policies were an issue of trade tax. So these are all challenges. We then asked a question to these organisations in these countries. We said, will business excellence help you in the long term to address these challenges? And I'll only describe one of the responses, which is from Singapore. There's not enough time to go through all the responses, but this one's very important. The response from Singapore was as follows. They said that business excellence helped companies to address macro challenges at the micro level. Therefore, Category 2 of the Business Excellence Framework, strategic planning, helps to address the financial crisis. Category 4, people, helps to address cultural and social issues. Category 5, processes, helps to address legal requirements and international standards. And Category 1.3, leadership and social responsibility, helps to address environmental issues. So what they're saying here is that these business excellence frameworks help organisations to address issues on a micro level. But then if you have many organisations in your country using these frameworks, you start to begin to address the challenges at a macro level. But what I'm coming to now is now the relevance of benchmarking to this. Because we then ask these organisations who are using these business excellence frameworks, we said, where do they need help? What tools do they need to use in the future to address these mega challenges, these big challenges? And the number one tool that they said was important to address these challenges was benchmarking. So this is, when Bruce started his presentation, an hour ago, he was asking the question whether benchmarking is going to be a good solution for the future. What I'm sharing with you here from this study is saying, yes, benchmarking will be a solution. Because these organisations using business excellence frameworks say that benchmarking will help them to address the micro challenges, and then when we aggregate that all up, it will address the macro challenges. Okay, I'll go to the next slide. And the computer's jammed. Okay, that's good. One of the issues with benchmarking, and I think Bruce also alluded to this, and a couple of presenters alluded to this, was that benchmarking for some organisations achieves fantastic results. So in a recent study by the Global Benchmarking Network, 20% of organisations said that they expect that each benchmarking project is going to produce a return of more than $250 million. Some would expect the project to produce a return of more than $1 million. It really depends on the size of the company. But the problem around the world is that some organisations are not achieving major benefits from benchmarking. And so there has to be a reason for this. And so in this particular study, we examined why some organisations were not getting major benefits from benchmarking. And this was because a lot of them received no training in benchmarking. They did not follow a prescribed benchmarking methodology. They did not develop a project plan before proceeding with a benchmarking project. And they did not undertake the cost and benefit analysis before proceeding with a benchmarking project. So whilst we need to look ahead at these mega challenges for 2030, we need to make sure that if benchmarking is a tool for the future, it's applied professionally. And we need to start doing that now. And so this is why there's a clear need for professional benchmarking if benchmarking is indeed going to meet those mega trends and the challenges full on. So in the future, the global benchmarking network's role is going to become more important. We're going to be providing a certification role, I believe. around the world, so that we make sure that training providers are certified and then people who are trained in benchmarking are certified. We also expect there to be an institute for benchmarking professionals to ensure that benchmarking is applied successfully. Secondly, the use of technology in benchmarking for benchmarking will grow. We've already seen information sharing with you how technology has grown in use over the last few years. And now, Facebook, when it was within 1 year of launch, it reached 100 million users. While previous means of communication took many years to reach many users. So technology is going to play a big part in the future. I'm saying this in my own personal presentation because I'm also the founder of the BPR.com website resource, a benchmarking and best practice website resource. And it's very hard to develop something that still remains up to date. We've developed this website, it's got lots of great content, it supports organisations which are proceeding towards business excellence. But at the moment we provide lots of static information, static case studies, lots of written material. But people's mindsets now are not wanting to read as much as before. People want quick answers, quick solutions. A lot of people just don't like to read as much as they used to in the past. And so you see a lot of website resources like ours now changing to enable the members of the website to share information directly with each other. So now they've got more of a social networking orientation. And now this enables organisations to add best practices directly to the website as videos, format, or photographs, or textual format. But I see in the future, rather than reading material, most information will be shown as videos. People like to learn in that way, rather than reading static information. So as a concluding statement, the world is getting smaller. There's faster communication, faster travel. People are becoming more global than national. More and more benchmarking will be undertaken at a national level. I showed you the example yesterday of Singapore learning from countries around the world, and gradually their national performance improves. So they're number one with many national and international indices. So there's going to be lots of comparisons between countries using things like the Global Competitiveness Index, Quality of Life Index, so on and so forth. There are lots of national comparisons. There will also be more comparisons between the public sectors around the world, because people travel and live in different countries around the world. Wherever they are, they expect the public service to be of a certain standard. If you go to Canada, and in Ontario, they have a service level standards that says that the maximum amount of time anybody should wait for a service at a government office is between 5 to 9 minutes. The maximum number of people that you should have to deal with in order to get service at a government office is 2 people. 15 minutes is the maximum amount of time to travel to a government office. So this sort of information will be shared more widely, more openly. The public services will learn from each other all around the world. Just coming down to my last slide, again it is stuck. When I provided the introduction to benchmarking yesterday, I told you the story of Rank Xerox. They invented benchmarking as we know it today. They took 8 years to become world class for using benchmarking. We now have an example of Boeing Aerospace Support. They took 3 years to become world class through benchmarking. I think that time frame is going to be reduced in the future. So benchmarking undoubtedly is going to play a key part in addressing today's great challenges. It's going to address poverty, pollution, global warming, terrorism, diseases, ageing population, fraud. And hopefully all these difficulties will disappear through benchmarking. Thank you very much. It's time for a break, then we'll have the final session. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. We now have a brief break for coffee, and we have request the participants of the round table to come back a little earlier and assemble. Thank you.
So if we could come back for 3 o'clock, it's only a 10-minute break, and that means we can finish earlier. Okay? So 10-minute break for a quick coffee, tea, and toilet break. Thank you.
What information we need put it into that project. Do we have a future for benchmarking? I will try to say it in a different way. Do we have a future for a formal benchmarking, or do we have a future for informal benchmarking? If we look for informal benchmarking, we do a lot of informal benchmarking. Chatting with friends. I was just talking to my friends that chatting with friends, this kind of practices being done between organizations. Hiring consultants, headhunting, event magazines, all these things. Can we see future of this one? I think this will be emerging, and this sort of, let me say, informal benchmarking will be emerging over formal benchmarking. As the world is getting more smaller, globalization started to come up, more information is available on internet and magazines and all these things. I think the future will be for informal benchmarking rather than formal benchmarking.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, there will always be a future for informal benchmarking. But even of course, for formal benchmarking, there has to be a future. But I would correlate it with how much transparency there will be in the future. The more transparent the society, the more transparent the businesses, there will be a future for benchmarking. Another point is that, benchmarking or formal benchmarking will be there's more opportunity for formal benchmarking, where there's a confidence between business. When they lack confidence, then there will be a barrier on benchmarking. So I would say there are so many cultural, political factors related to the future of benchmarking. But certainly there will be a future. And what we have seen from this 2 days conference is really impressive, And we have benefited a lot, and I feel that more people will be attending future conferences if we have the chance. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. And one more.
Thank you, gentlemen, for wonderful presentations. We have enjoyed the last 2 days. Personally, I see benchmarking as a natural phenomenon, because to grow that meaningful to level. And throughout civilization, I think the knowledge transfer was through benchmarking. Getting to know what others are doing. It was not maybe done formally as it is now, but it was carried out through people, through praise, through whatever. But the essence is really simplicity and nothing else. But right now, I think the issue is linked to survival. To be competitive, that means we have to compete. And to compete, we have to do things differently or do different things. And which really raises to competition. What is the willingness of those who know to share with the others who don't know? Is there any resistance? The issue of confidentiality is, are there going to be a formal agreement, like now we have something called SLA, service level agreement, in which somehow knowledge transfer of the contracts transfer to some kind of agreement. Is there any something like that to be developed in the future where knowledge is transferred to the contracts? That's on the positive side. On the negative side, I see that people as they learn,